Woo! Hello, everybody. I'm Shredberg on my couch. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Can I Pepsi?
Hi, I'm King J0444.
All right, and we're gonna have a ton of time here as we get started to, get some more introduction in here. But let's just get going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, so this is Super Meat Boy. Indie game came out in 2010, sort of like very fast, very known for basically being like a quintessential speed run indie game. We're going to be running and jumping, playing as Super Meat Boy all the way across this. This is dark ending, so that means that we need to beat the dark version of the boss, which means that we need to beat 85 different what's called dark levels. The ones that I'm playing through right now are called light levels, and with each of these, the goal is to get there to Bandage Girl below what is called a A+ time. And since we're speedrunning, we're going to be beating those times by quite a bit all the way through it. They're pretty lenient for speedrunners. And so that's going to unlock basically bonus, not really bonus because it's like half the game, but it's going to unlock remixed hard versions of different levels. So one thing that you'll see me do is pause the game. And what I'm doing there is a trick called auto jump. And that lets me jump on every single frame. So every single jump is frame perfect. And it also allows for faster jumps as well. So if you think of how you have to jump when you're playing a game is press jump, let go, press again. Whereas with that one, it's just auto fire. It's going to do it every single time. It's never letting go of jumps, so you're able to climb things a lot faster. Okay, so went through here, and that's those 18 light versions. And see here, we're at the dark version of Forest that we're going to go through. So as I said, we're going to do 85 different of these dark levels. There's basically 5 chapters that we want to do those 85 levels in. And so each of those, on average, you want to do 17. But these forest levels are so short that we do an extra one. So we do 18 levels, and it ends up being faster so that once we get into Dark Rapture, those levels get really long. So that's near the end of the run, chapter 5 that we'll get to. But yeah, for the most part, we're just running and jumping. Pepsi, what do you think of this run? You're experienced in the Meat Boy speed running.
It's pretty cool. If you want to do something more than 80%, but not spend like an hour and a half to like 4 hours doing 1 to 6, it's a really good middle ground.
Yeah, that's true. And King J, you did how much any percent did you do? I know that you have done a run.
I met you through Celeste.
Yeah, that's true.
I ran, I think, this once on Switch. Maybe twice. I don't know. I have like a 30-minute any percent. But I love this game.
Yeah, missed that. You're supposed to go through there and get a squeeze through those saws, but just barely missed it. As you can see, most of this game is really just like very precisely getting right in front of saws, and there's gonna be more obstacles as we get along. Like right here, there's like a super tight squeeze. Let's see if we can get it first try. Well, if I don't jump, then you're gonna hit by a saw. That's what happens when you get hit by something, you die.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty unique. Oh no, this isn't gonna make it. If you don't clip there, you're able to just run along right to Bandage Girl and save a cycle. Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of these this game is just beating cycles, making really tight jumps, all that kind of fun stuff. And right here, we're 1 level away from the first boss of the game. The bosses in this game are, fortunately for me, I guess, and for speedrunners, they're pretty straightforward. Like, this is just an auto-scroller where we're going to get through and not hit any of these saws and get to the end and wait for it. Obviously, it's not like a true auto-scroller. I'm the one scrolling the screen, but it takes a determined amount of time. There's no way to save time on this boss, so it's really just don't die, which can be nice after you get through with a bunch of difficult levels, 36 tough levels. You want to just have a little bit of a break, so lets you have that as you go through. What's your PB in this, Pepsi? You got like a 42, 41?
It's been like 5, I don't remember.
It's been like 5 years? Wow, you got to get on that. You can get the sub 40, I believe. Someday, yeah. All right, we're in chapter 2 now, Hospital. On this one, we're going to add more and more obstacles here. Instead of it being saw blades, there's going to be syringes that we're watching out for. Still going to have saws, not instead, but instead of that being like the only thing, they're just going to add more and more. We got these fans. Oh, whoops, I ran right into it. Right there, you can do a little skip by jumping off the corner, and you save like a full second on this. A lot of the skips that I'm doing on this are really to save like a tenth of a second, like 2/10 of a second on a lot of the things that I do. Because this game with Meat Boy strats is so optimized that it becomes like a tenth or 2/10 of a second is a really big time save. Anything more than like a second, there's not too many run or strats that aren't done at a top level run, except for the one that I just skipped on that one.
I was gonna say, specifically in 90%, like those like small time saves, they all add up.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. I was going for a 106 strat there, but fortunately, I got a timer glitch there, and it ate my storage jump. Storage jump, by the way, is when you finish a level, when you touch Bandage Girl, it stores your position, like right there was on the ground. So on the very first frame, if you look at Meat Boy actually starts slightly in the air. So the game will think that I'm actually on the ground when that happens. And so you can like jump in the middle of the air, which is pretty helpful. We'll see it in a second, actually. However, this run, unlike Forest, I'm actually skipping a couple levels because they're slower. The way that you route this category out is basically like you want to beat 17 levels in this as quickly as possible, but you have to average out also the how long it takes to do the dark levels. So in any percent, we just do 1 through 17, because like this level right here would be pretty slow in any percent, but fortunately the dark version is pretty quick. So that lets us, skip some levels. Is timed RTA on speedrun leaderboards, so does take into account the time of leaving back to map, but ends up being faster. All right. Beginning of this run is super quick. It's like you look up and you're like, oh wow, I'm already...
No stopping, yeah.
Yeah, really is. The best part about this run is just it's super, super quick. It's almost as difficult, like not every single, probably half of these levels have pretty big skips in them, but it's difficult to describe all of them because the average length of a level in this run is like 7 seconds. There's really not all too much time inside of the levels unless you hit the side of a fan, and then you get one. So right here, you need to just squeeze over to the side of that fan. That fan, it looks like there's a lot of room, but there's actually like barely any. So that fan can nip you a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's some good tech there that you also see a lot throughout the run called a sprint jump.
Yeah.
Should probably talk about that. It doesn't sound like what we call it. So when you're going against a wall, to quickly go off the wall, you jump, and then you repress sprint to start moving faster again towards the wall. And you just keep doing that over and over. Because if you just hold sprint and jump, you kind of have a fairly wide set arc.
Yeah. Right here, I'm going to skip most of the level. If you go out of bounds in this game, like off camera, what happens is that you will die, and that's how it does it. So it's based off of how far away you are from the camera. But on that one, if you are to just barely squeeze your way through, you're able to skip that whole level, which you're basically waiting for these blob dudes to like get out of the way. Oh my gosh. Oh. All right, we made it. All right, right here, let's see if I can get it. This is a fun one where you're just like wrapping around here. Nice. Okay.
Oh, let's go.
Oh,
Nice.
nice. That's a fun one. I did clip the wall there at the end, so it wasn't super fast, but just getting the main setup is the big time save there. Clipping's only a couple fractions of a second.
There's so many levels where you're able to barely beat a cycle, but most people don't do it because it's just too hard.
Yeah, this is a level where, like, you can see I jumped right in front of that saw blade, and I talked about storage early. Whoops, I talked about storage earlier, and if you have ground storage there, so you beat the previous level on the ground, you'll actually, die there. So you need to make sure you touch Bandage Girl while in the air, so that you can beat that saw cycle. There we go.
As far as riding is concerned, noticed in the last chapter and this chapter, before going to the boss, we go back to the dark levels. That's because there's two reasons. If you beat the boss, it kicks you out and puts you on the menu for the next chapter, so you have to menu back.
Yeah.
Which isn't too much slower by itself, it's like a half second. But also, you don't want to see Glitch Girl in this category.
Yep.
Because that's actually a big time loss.
Yeah, it really is. There's another category that's similar. It's called All Dark Levels, where in this one you are just getting the dark ending, but the other one, it's essentially all levels, but not like no bonus levels or anything like that, no warp zones, where you can route that out and do the final chapter, and you can do it where you sort of take a risk because there's like a 10% chance that Glitch Girl shows up, and you can either take like a half-second time loss, or you can take the risk, which is kind of a fun gamble. All right, here's the second boss. This one actually has a pretty fun skip in it. So the screen's going to be going up, and we want to grab this key while the screen's going up. So we make a sort of a tight jump there to go off screen, but just barely, not enough to where it gets the kill plane. And so that makes the level just keep scrolling up. I have to wait here until right before or right as the screen stops moving up, or else Chad goes across really, really slow. But that saves a good like 8 seconds on there. That's pretty good time save for a boss.
That was real fast.
Yeah. All right, now we're getting into Salt Factory, and Dark Salt is where this run really gets it gets really tough. I would say. Going into this so far, these levels, a lot of fun skips and all of that, but then Dark Salt is when you really start getting really, really, really challenging stuff, and then
really starts amping up in difficulty in general.
Exactly. As you'd expect in a platformer, the further you get, the harder it is, but whoa. This game definitely has that. It definitely has a big ramp up, and maybe even like a big step in difficulty. Whoa. All right, here in this we have these conveyors, which as that you can see, they sort of push you up. I messed up on that one, that's fine, so we're just gonna ride this. Normally you're able to take that and just go to one of the walls on the side, but you need to jump into it. Right here I'm gonna go for a, whoops, I don't know if I got that right, nope. Was going for a frame perfect slide on that one, where if you jump into a wall, or in this case a conveyor, right as you hit it, so on the very same frame, as long as you have the right setup, you will slide up it, which allows you to go up that conveyor really fast and all the way to Bandage Girl fast. It's like a 2-second time save, but it is frame perfect, so you can't really rely on it. But that trick is what honestly taught me that frame perfect is not as precise as I thought that it was. I thought that 60 hertz frame perfect is like, there's no way you can get that consistent, but I don't know. I feel like I get it like 70% of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty forgiving.
Yeah. It's the pixel perfect stuff that's way harder than like frames.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
that would be more difficult.
Oops. All right, here we got Mono Skip coming up. This one is one of these like sort of really notorious ones as you get started speedrunning on it, because oh gosh, well, gotta wait for this conveyor. You're supposed to do this before the conveyor, or yeah, the conveyor comes up there, and yeah, you just go over the salt. But if you don't get the setup right on there, you gotta wait for the conveyor to pass a little bit. Here's another one where we're gonna try to do an auto jump off those blocks. There we go.
Very nice.
That saves like 7 seconds of waiting for, oh gosh. Whew. All right, not supposed to do it like that. Playing a little bit wobbly this morning. All right, there we go. And now we are in Dark Salt, which the levels in this one are, I think, for the most part, dark. Actually, they do live up to their name. Some of them, like Dark Cotton, those ones are pretty light. Those aren't even dark, but this one
really makes it think.
Yeah, they really did a good job of living up to the name there. Okay.
A lot of the time with the dark levels, they actually keep the same layout of the light levels, but just add a bunch of saws and way more danger to it.
Yeah, they become, there's quite a few that are like quite different, and then there's ones that are pretty similar that just add a good amount of difficulty. Yeah, here using auto jump there to climb up that much faster than you'd be able to otherwise. Just barely able to jump over that salt pile, actually, not saw. Gotta wait for those.
I feel like the Dark Salt too, they start to get longer.
They do.
Definitely.
Way longer than the regular version.
Yeah, and Dark Rapture we'll see is definitely like, that's where that's really true. Dark Hell, fortunately, ends up being pretty fast. Those levels are really, honestly, quite short. Okay. Need to get enough speed there to go around that saw blade and grab a key. There we go. All right.
So yeah, this one before, we just went up once, now we had to go up and down multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah, this one as well just has you, and this... You want to also go like really quickly, but those saw or salt piles can really like get you if you're not careful. I think I'm up too high. Yeah, I am. All right, not getting any of the frame perfect skips today. That's fine. It happens. Whoa. Here's a fun one that like this game is just kind of wonky. You see that there's those birds flying away, and that missile just like hits the birds, which is fun.
I don't think it's fun for the birds.
No, not that's probably true. Fortunately, there's video game birds, not real birds, so. But they're probably not having fun. Who knows? King J, why did you run this game? Is it just because it's the GOAT or what? You know?
Yeah, actually. Well, I really like this game. I played this game a lot when I was like, this is like, for those who don't know, this is like kind of one of the first like really big indie games that kind of like got them on the map for a lot of people. And it's just like, it's easily one of my favorite games ever. It's very simple, but it's very fun to try to go fast. So I tried it out. I didn't get very far. I do want to come back to it though. So
nice.
And I watched you run this for countless 100 hours.
Yeah, I've ran this game way too much. I need to speedrun other things. All right, here I'm gonna go for a skip that I'm pretty inconsistent with. Let's see. This one's like a pretty tight jump where you can't just do like 2 jumps immediately. All right, well, we're just not gonna do that skip then. Oh my gosh, no! All right, these conveyors are wonky. Sometimes when you jump on them, when they're moving, it'll send you in the opposite direction, which sounds like I'm just like, if you ever watch a speedrunner, they'll complain about something that they did wrong. They'll be like, why did the game do that? And they perfectly well knew that that happened. And that was me right now. I was like, why did the game do that to me? But that was just my fault for doing the wrong thing.
You didn't have to out yourself. We wouldn't have called you out for it.
No, I hate that jump so much.
So that was because...
Yeah, the game right there, what it did is it read my inputs and not my mind, which is honestly kind of annoying.
Gotta hate when that happens.
Yeah. Game devs need to fix that, you know? Okay, there we go. Whew. That's a pretty tight one right there. And there's a good example of what storage jump does for you. Because on a lot of them, you're like a few pixels above the ground, but on that one, you're obviously like way above the ground. So we're able to like skip falling to the ground and then jumping back up. And so then we immediately just do a jump, which saves a good amount of time and just makes the cycles a lot easier because there's those missile things that are supposed to be hitting you. But
yeah, a lot safer overall too.
Yeah. That the missile hasn't killed me in a while. Whatever. Everything has to kill you in this game every once in a while.
All right. Cool boss time.
Yeah. This boss is like a 30-second long race against Brownie, unless you just go to the side, do a sprint jump, and then you can just climb the side and trigger the cutscene.
And it's over.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
Way, like, harder than he made it look, but...
Yeah, sprint jumps are sort of precise. You probably have, like, a few frames in which you, like, what you're letting... Whoops. I keep
when you start out,
and not enter.
When you start out, that trick will take you a while.
Yeah. But as is everything in speedrunning, when you have like 2,000 hours in the game, it's like, this isn't even hard anymore, dude. Why did I have trouble with it when I had 20 hours in the game? Everyone should just have that level of 2,000 hours.
Everybody should just put thousands of hours into Super Meat Boy.
That's exact. I've been saying this, but then people keep playing other games. It's not right. All right, this is hell. This is where, like, casually this game, like, builds up to be really difficult. And from a speedrun perspective, that's absolutely true as well. Nice. It has a lot of very difficult skips in there, starting really with this one. Let's see if I got it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice.
That's called hex skip, and like for including this run, that's really like can be a run killer, just because of how precise it is. Really, really difficult, but you might have a chance to do another version of that on the dark side of that level, but we'll see. If I'm fast enough, I don't have to do the skip.
Only a couple of people do that any percent too. It's not worth it.
It is really difficult. It's probably not worth it unless you're going for like a 17. Which world record is a 17:27. There's 3 people tied with a 17:27 at 90%. That's like a cursed time. Humans were not meant to get a 17:26.
We'll never see it.
No, it's impossible.
I've been saying that.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of these were gonna be. Let's see if we can get all the way over there.
Nice.
Yeah, using auto jump there for safety. There's these eyeballs.
Have we explained auto jump at all? I don't think we have.
I think so, yeah, because I was talking about how we're able to climb things really fast. You're going to be able to see it on this next level here as I'm going to jump. Hopefully I don't bonk my head. Nice. But yeah, you're going to see it when I climb up here to get to Bandage Girl, just how quickly you're able to go up there.
It looks really funny when it's like in a very narrow area like that.
Yeah, and that's where you save the most time too, because you think about how much time you lose by just letting go of the jump button, and just like, you know, having human hands that can't press jump that fast.
Yeah, I used to not see so much auto jump in the run like years ago. It's pretty contentious, but
oh yeah, I mean back like, you know, it's a 14-year-old game. You go back to like Speed Demos archive like discussions, and people are like, oh no, we can't do that. That shouldn't be allowed. All right, got these 17 levels here, and then Dark Hell is like, it starts out heavy with a hard skip, and it ends with hard skips. All right, let's see. I might have.
Nice. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, you did it too early. The thing is, I was a little bit slow going through it. All right, we're gonna give it like 2 more tries.
Yeah, every part of the skip is hard. Like,
yeah, it's difficult to line up. It's really precise to get through there. Obviously, all right, yeah, we're done.
The other thing too is when you die on a saw, and there's like blood on the saw. It makes it a little bit bigger in terms of hitbox.
Okay.
Very slightly.
You know, something interesting is that myth has been around forever, and it is kind of a myth because that's actually not true.
Real.
So I just like a week or so ago, I did a stream where I was able to, you know, be talking to Tommy, the programmer of this game for Team Meat, and so I brought that up because I was like, what's up with that? Is that a real thing? And so the hitbox is not bigger when you get blood on it. Despite what people have been saying for years. However, what can happen is that there's probably like a redraw error when it goes from normal saw to bloody saw. That's like such a tiny difference, but it can make a difference in doing this. Okay, so I messed this up, so I actually do get to try this. Let's go. Easy.
Nice.
Let's go.
Very tight.
Messed that up. Just the wrong strat.
I'm still gonna say that the hitbox gets bigger so I can use an excuse.
That's perfect. Yeah, you're right. I'm out here spreading lies to make people feel worse. Yours isn't true. If you ever die on a saw, it's like, what are you doing?
If you ever die in this game, it's not your fault.
Yeah. All right. I've been trying to beat this game 106 being like the whole game, but trying to beat it deathless, which the biggest thing on that is trying to make sure to not do the deathless strat on there. And there's other characters with completely different physics in the game as well. And some of those have different strats where like you have to start the level holding like a certain direction. And on some of these, I keep doing that. So that's like the biggest thing in my head.
Your best is 4, right? I think 4.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get 0 soon. I am always super impressed by people that can run like 3-4 categories of a game just like in the same day and just remember it and not make any route mistakes. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like those people are geniuses. They have like massive brains, but I don't know. Maybe it is just me that can't remember the route. Like okay, don't go into that portal. Just a little fun fact for you gamers. If you're trying this at home, don't go into the portal like that.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah. Okay. And normally I'm playing on Linux, and these eyeballs can sometimes disappear, which is really fun. But I'm playing on Windows right now, so these eyeballs are going to stay here. And it's like RNG on whether or not they disappear, so that's a little bit annoying. I wish I knew like a way to manipulate it. If I do, free time save. If I ever figure it out. But
Yeah,
sadly, Windows is... It's not as glitchy, I guess. Running on the more stable version.
As Shredwood mentioned, there's more characters in this game. We're not going to be seeing any of them in this category, but one of the main characters is Nija, and that one of the levels that you just did, you can literally just like clip through with them.
Oh yeah,
there's just go to the end.
There's like 4 levels in this where like you just skip like the whole thing. Yeah, Dark Hell. The thing that I really love about Dark Hell is how short a lot of these levels are. They're really difficult. They have big skips, but for the most part, you're not doing them for all that long. One thing that's really great about this speedrun is that, like, very few single mistakes are really gonna kill the run, which is nice.
Okay, this is a very hard boss.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little fun thing right here where we're just gonna pause and let that fist go right through us. This is a manipulation, what's called timer glitch. Or I guess it's not timer glitch on this point because there's no timer there. But if you pause the game and then go to exit game, it's going to like a confirmation screen, and you're going to say, nope, never mind. Some animations will go in the background, and obviously when the game's paused, it's not doing any hit detection, but it will keep looking at an animation. So here we're just able to sort of mess around with it, and then also I don't have to do anything for the next like 20 seconds on this boss too, which is nice. I get a little break. What's up, PAX West? How's it going? Yeah. I have time to do crowd work. How's it going, crowd? What do you do for a job?
This is a stand-up meeting.
I can't hear anything you're saying. All right, we got to go to the next thing.
My bad, I'm sorry.
Thank you, you're a beautiful crowd. All right, we're going into Rapture now. Yeah, these levels are a lot longer. So it's one of these where, oh gosh, there's this white flash that goes up on the screen, and that's because we skipped the cutscene, and it like has a flash on the screen that wants to play, and since we skipped the cutscene, it's like still waiting to do it. And it waits until the first possible opportunity, which is that jump, and that jump's actually kind of precise, and I forgot that it existed somehow. I don't know.
You just get flashbanged.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes it's like the very first beginning of the level is where the hard part of the jump is. There we go. There you want to use auto jump, hit that, and you go right across the saw, and it's really nice. Makes it way easy. Let's see if I can get a little slide here. Oh, whoops. Okay. Needed to jump earlier than that. There's a slide here that saves you a good chunk of time, but it's not actually frame perfect like the other ones. Oh, I was too fast. Okay.
Yeah, these were pulsers too that send you outwards from that little white dot in the middle. They help with slides a lot. I don't know why or how, but they just do.
This one is because this wall right here is actually what's called a half block wall, which if you look at these, like that's actually a good example of right here. You can see that block that's, you know, half of a block. Those have weird properties where if you jump on them, like in the middle of where like a full block would be, you actually just jump. And you're both like jumping in the air and jumping on a block, so it just sends you like straight up basically. Unless you're not holding a direction and then you do a normal jump. Oh, whoops. That's fine. I did it this way because of the dark level. You do it that way. I'd rather do it wrong on this one than do it wrong on the dark version anyways.
That is fair.
All right, kid time.
Kid time, yeah. If we're doing 106, we would. Shout out to the kid. Fun level.
So that's everybody's like least favorite warp zone.
Yeah. That was one. I keep pressing like shift when I'm mashing things instead of enter. Whatever, we always make mistakes, you know? Everyone has those days. All right, these things on the ground are, I guess, the thing is that they do have names, but there's no way to know it in the game because it doesn't describe it. But there's like a special edition of the game that came out that has like an art book that has the names of it, but I've never seen the art book, so I don't know what they're called. So I call them zombie boys, and they're like RNG a little bit, and when they'll chase you, which fortunately for these light levels aren't really that big of a deal, but there's a level in the dark version that will get there. Okay. That'll get there. We do not want to go into that warp zone.
It's very easy to just walk into it.
Whoa.
It's a nice warp zone.
All right, hopefully I still get A+. I think A+ in this is like 17 seconds. Yeah, 16. We're fine. I always get worried when I mess up, and then I remember that like almost none of the A+ times are that much of a concern. It's honestly like the really straightforward levels where it's more of a concern than anything else. Like the ones that you should almost never mess up. Okay.
That was interesting.
That's because I jumped off of a diagonal block, which also acts kind of weird, just the same way that half blocks do. So you can jump off of the wall, but end up like jumping downwards or like immediately hitting your head, basically. Right there, you're supposed to go back and forth and grab a bunch of keys, but instead you can just like tightly platform there and you don't. Oh my goodness. The next level after this is like, I just beat it casually for the first time in like over a decade a minute ago, and it
Literally
took
like
40 seconds. But instead we just do that and take
Yeah.
3. But they say that like when you speedrun something, you can't really play it casually anymore. But like I had not played that. It's actually kind of hard. It took me like 10 tries.
Watching that was interesting. It was like you played the game for the first time again.
It was. I didn't know what was there.
You're like, whoa, there's a saw blade there. That's crazy.
Yeah, there. A lot of the like custom levels in this game are like a lot of people like to do remixed hard versions of existing levels, and it reminded me of that. It was like, oh, whoops, oh, that's fine. Didn't want to go into that one, but right here, I described earlier that we want to beat about 17 levels per Dark World, but we did 18 in Forest. And, you know, there's 5 chapters where we're doing these dark levels. We do 17 has 5, that's 85, I think. If, you know, I'm not a math major.
If master is right.
All right, there we go. Okay, here's like a precise one. I actually use keyboard for this one because it just ends up being easier, but there we go.
Very nice.
That's another level that I just beat casually again for the first time in forever. It's actually really difficult, honestly. I don't know. But when you use like other characters that have like a double jump, that lets you just skip all of it. It makes it really easy. Don't even have to do that precise like jump that we did with Meat Boy. Here's probably the hardest level in this run. But let's see, hopefully this part can be... All right, there we go.
Most people skip it in their runs.
Yeah, most people skip it, but it ends up being a little bit faster there too. It's probably by like a second. It's by 3 seconds if you don't do a couple skips and you do 19 levels instead of 18 in Forest. And there's like a skip that nobody does in Forest anyways, which sort of makes sense. The combined difficulty of those skips is probably harder than just doing that level. But that level is really difficult. Those repulsors are really not intuitive, so you have to really get down the movement. Okay. This is like one of my favorite levels, and by favorite levels, I mean least favorite levels for speedrunning, because there's just so many little areas where you're like, time to take a death. Okay.
Dang.
And not the same death twice in a row. Anyways, I hadn't died like that in forever, so that's why it pops up. I feel like that happens all the time, where like you have not died like that in forever, and then you die like that like 3 times in a row. Here we're gonna do a fun little clip where we're gonna use these disappearing and reappearing blocks to, we're gonna jump off of it. Oh, no, we're not. All right, we're gonna mess up the strat and we're gonna do it normal. It loses about 2 seconds compared to not trying it at all, but it would have been fun if we saw it. But what's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to basically jump off of that block, and we are able to clip into the wall and then go right to Bandage Girl. We're gonna skip 5-9X. That's like a 23-second long level. And then here's where the RNG might actually get me right here. Nope, we're fine. But yeah, these things are RNG on like how far away from you they are when they move. All right, nice. So that level can just end up killing you. I think Vorpal has a pretty consistent strat, but it also was really... Oh gosh, come on, please. Thank you.
Shoutouts to Vorpal.
Shoutouts to Vorpal. The GOAT. Yeah, the thing with Dark Raptures, it really is like... Oh my gosh, nice slide there. A lot of these levels are really long. And the thing with slides as well, to go back to those, very few times when you get a slide, you actually want it. None of my slide strats actually that I wanted to do today worked. But we got that one that I didn't want. Didn't make a difference all that much, but that's fine.
Looks pretty cool.
Just caught you by surprise.
Yeah, they always do. It's always... They're never good. You never want them to pop up on you, but sometimes they do. All right, here we don't want to die. One, because it's a speed run and we're trying to go fast, but two, sometimes those maggots can end up respawning in the wrong location, and then it's unbeatable and you have to die and try again. There we go. I've been having some trouble on that level recently. You got to get really close to those saws when you go and beat them, or to jump over them, I mean. There's another clip on this one right here, but I'm rusty with it. It's pretty difficult compared to the other one. I already messed up that one, so you know I'm not getting that one. Coming up after this level, which this one we're just kind of be waiting for like these locks to come over. We're gonna be playing a full RNG boss. There's like very little that we can do other than hope that the RNG goes our way. It's called Larry, and what I'm gonna do to start is I'm gonna do that timer pause glitch thing that I talked about with Little Horn in Hell. And what that's going to do is that's going to let me pause while there's still one of them going. And that lets two of them potentially jump. The thing is that the RNG was very bad there, so that didn't allow it to happen. None of them jumped. But the way that this works is that there's three worms. They all act dependently of each other. And what's supposed to happen is each of them on that first cycle, when all three are alive, have a 50% chance of jumping. So we pause the game in between when these dust clouds pop up. We pause it and allow the animation to go. And so what can happen is when we immediately unpause it, it can jump. But that one that hasn't created a dust cloud won't know until it dies. Very fancy way of saying we can get multiple ones to die very early and make our RNG better. That was like, what, a 7 cycle, 8 cycle?
Yeah, something like that.
That is basically average. That's about the median for that one, which is pretty good. The fastest that you can get is technically a 1 cycle. For speed runs, we really only go for what's called a 2 cycle, where it takes 2 cycles to go through it. It makes sense when you played the game. If you haven't, I don't know. I don't think there's a better way to explain it. All right, here there's like a bunch of keys that we're supposed to get, but you just do a tight little jump there and skip most of the level.
Also, we can't skip any levels in the end. We have to actually do them all. So
yeah. Because we need to unlock the boss on this one, but we're not going to be doing it. These do have dark levels. We're not going to be doing any of them. 6-1X, so chapter 6, level 1, dark is what that all means. That one's kind of close to being practical, but we don't end up doing that one. It's just all those are skipped. The rest of these dark levels are like 30 seconds long. They're very long, even with some of the skips that we have. So none of those are worth it. But in order to unlock the light boss, we got to do it. All right, let's see if I can get this. Let's go. Nice. All right, still one more part to it. Oh, okay. Well, we'll still get the backup there, but big, scary skip there where we're just like barely missing those saw blades. And then right here, there's going to be a couple skips. Go through this little hole, jump through these saw blades, and then we're going to run off and... Whew. And so we skipped grabbing a key there, and so all of those skips save like probably like 10 seconds. And so now we're going into the any percent boss. And we're going to be doing the boss basically twice in a row. This is an auto scroller. Here we're basically getting... It's trying to keep you in between these two saw blades, but right, we can just jump over it and get to the end of the level and then just wait. And hopefully we don't make a silly mistake and die on them. No one's ever done that before. PB pace. Surely not me.
I don't think I've ever done this the normal way, to be honest.
I definitely have.
Here, honestly.
Yeah. I definitely have done it the normal way.
As long as you're standing on this button, then the saws can't hurt you at the end. So.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your interview with the crowd now?
That was just a bit. I knew I wouldn't be able to hear him. Unless, crowd, do you have anything that you want to say in this run?
I heard no. But
No? Okay.
And I also heard I love you.
Nice. I love you too. All right. And here we're going to go... at the end, it wants you to go and climb up a bunch of things. It'll make more sense when we get there. I'm going to do this baby mode. You see, you want you to go over there to the right, but we're gonna like trigger the cutscene end right over here. Have to make sure you skip that cutscene, or else we would have to replay through that again. But we backspace out to get out of the credits. But yeah, very important that we do not exit out during the cutscene. That is a 90-second time loss, where you just have to play through the boss again, even though we beat it. Now we do the dark version of the boss. Honestly, quite similar, just harder. Again, we're sort of cycle-locked in between these two rows of saws, but as you can see, there's more saws that are going to try to kill us. Over there, instead of just the slow ones, there's like a faster saw that can get in our way. All right, there we go. So we're out of the, I don't know, scary part. But honestly, I feel like this part is scarier, not because it's harder, but like there's parts of speedruns that are just so easy, but they're like high leverage, where if you mess it up, like, oh, you just lost the run on that. So that makes it so scary. Because if you die on something hard, it's like, oh, you know, that's hard. You die on something easy, and then you just want to like crawl into a hole, and you just want to stay there for, you know, hibernate a little bit. All right, as we're getting to the end here, shout out to the Meat Boy community, everyone that has helped me get better at this game all throughout. If you've ever had interest in running this game's honestly kind of like, it's not an easy speed run, but it can be kind of nice to pick up because you will die a lot, but that makes it easy for time save on your second and third runs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's time. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have anyone to shout out?
Shredberg.com.
Oh, yeah, shout out to
Shredberg.com.
Shredberg.com. You can go there. That just redirects to my Twitch, by the way. I don't have the security thing at the end of it, so it might tell you that I'm going to give you, but it won't give you a virus. It's just going to send you to Twitch, I promise.
I promise.
But if it does bring you, I'm just giving you a warning. But yeah, what about you? Do you have any shout outs?
I mean, shout out to you for letting me commentate, I guess, and letting us commentate. It was great.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Thanks, GDQ and PAX West, for having me. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Yeah, that's it for me. Excited for the rest of the runs.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Shredberg. All right, we're going to be getting ready for our next run, so stay tuned for that.